Oh, well, hello there again, friends and family. So glad you could stop on by the old home place. Caught me out in the backyard. Taking a break, you did, so pardon the appearance. But since you're here, there are a few things I wanted to discuss with you. You might have watched my last video, where we all went to Walmart, picked up a few things. We didn't need much, but while we were there, we took a look at a few areas of the store, one of which was the food section. Didn't go down every aisle, but we went through some of the more important ones. Canned goods, meats, produce, eggs, dairy, staple foods. Bread aisle, yeah, they even had bread. And that's going to lead us in to what we're going to talk about today. And I haven't done one of these here, deep dive analytical type videos quite some time. But I thought I would today, since now for quite some time, most of this year, I've been seeing a lot of comments from my viewers, and they're anxious. They're concerned, you might say. Yeah, we'll let the car go by and we'll continue. Because this is real life. We don't have a green screen. We ain't sitting in our fancy studio. We don't got one. Lord knows we don't even got a fancy house. But anyway, back to the subject. But I read the comments. Here of late, to be honest, I don't much enjoy reading some of the comments. It's not because they're hateful. It's because people are extremely worried. Yeah, they're buying in to all the hype that we're seeing all over social media. And we've really been pouring it on this year, as if we stopped last year, and we all know how 2020 went. All things considered, humanity should be pretty much totally wiped out by now. Yeah, except for a few people in bunkers in strategic locations. But so far, that hasn't happened. But one of the things that I think people are, I know, are anxious about and concerned, and that's the food supply. And yeah, it's got some issues. It's got some issues as far as supply chain, for a broader reason, the labor market, and we all know about the prices and the inflation rate that we're seeing at our local food stores and big box food retailers, like Walmart, like Target, like Sam's, Costco, Publix, Safeway, H-E-B, and the list goes on and on. But there always seems to be food in there. There might not be that particular brand or that particular type that we're wanting at that time. I've read comments here as I was going through from the past video where they go into their local Walmart and there's no eggs. Well, I can understand that. There is an issue with eggs right now. Mostly the avian flu. Now, whether you believe it's real or it's not, or how they're handling it, whether that's good or bad, it is an issue, and it is affecting our domestic egg supply. And it's not like we get eggs from any other country, because we don't. Not fresh eggs, anyway. And then there's the chicken. It's having the same issues with the avian flu. And they're killing a lot of birds. And that gets all back to the issue of how much supply we have and what the demand is. And what I have noticed here of late in all things in the stores, if you pay attention and look, it's not the medium to higher price things that are slap out. Let's just take meats. Chicken will be pretty slim at times, unless you catch it just at the right time. Hamburger. The cheaper cuts of pork. Yeah. Organ meats. Yeah. Things that are traditionally the least expensive are slim. And sometimes slap out. But I mean, there's always plenty of steaks, plenty of higher end pork products, as well as higher end chicken products. That's telling you. The current situation, which has been growing for quite some time, is really putting a strain on the American public in all categories. Disabled, seniors, single people, young and old, families. Yeah, we're all feeling the bite and feeling the crunch. There's no doubt about that. And one thing that has really come to the top is the importance of our grain stocks and supplies. Yeah. I mean, people are worried about a basic staple being totally gone, as if that's ever happened in human modern history that I could find. Yeah, there have been times when it's been slim. There have been famines in certain areas. But overall, globally, no. We have never seen in recorded history a global famine, and that's just fact. Yep. Regional famines are always happening every day of every week, of every month, of every year. Lord, we all remember the TV commercial. For just 25 cents a day, you can feed a family of 4 in the Congo. Remember those commercials? Yeah. But let's be a little bit more specific. What I wanted to talk to you today was about something that concerned me when I initially heard it. And that was, here back, I think it was around mid-May, all of social media came on and said, well, we only have 10 weeks of wheat left in the world. Yep, that's what they said. At first, by the dozens, then by the hundreds, then by the thousands. Yep, 10 weeks of wheat left, and we were done. Out. No more. Now that's global supply for the whole entire world. Now, ain't much I can do about the whole entire world, but I can, do maybe something about here in the U.S., and that's what I'm concerned with, because that's where I live, that's where my children live, my grandchildren, and of course all of you, my friends and family. So I started digging into that part of, food shortage. I mean, we hear it every day, multiple times a day if you go online. So I did. I dug into it. And you can look up right here, and I'll leave a link to it, because their reports come out every month. The USDA does a report of ending grain stocks. Yeah. And the current edition is for June. And the current totals that I will be giving you were as of June the 1st. And of course this is now July the 17th, I believe. Or maybe it's 18th. Don't hold me to it. I lose track of time and days. Anyway, it really don't matter. July's is yet to come out. And we'll see. But I thought I would share that with you, since apparently, now we're 7 weeks into this, which would mean we only had 3 weeks left. You would think, ooh, all chaos is breaking loose. But it hasn't. And of course, the culprit that everybody's blaming is Russia invading Ukraine and the war. Because apparently Ukraine grew all the wheat for the whole rest of the world. That's not even remotely true. Nor did Russia. I mean, total between the two, even though some news outlets said it was 25, others bumped that up to 30. I did my figuring, looking into it, and came up between the two, it's 14%, which is still a pile of wheat. Yeah. But Russia's still selling wheat. Ukraine's getting some wheat out. Of course, the other thing was India banned all exports, they said. That isn't exactly what India said. India was banning exports to countries that were taking their cheap wheat that they were buying from India and reselling it higher. Therefore, the countries who needed the wheat, to eat, were getting screwed. And if you look deep enough, you can find where the people over in India say exactly what I just told you. They didn't totally ban wheat. They just banned it to places, organizations, and countries that were taking advantage of the situation. Good for them. Maybe we should do that sometimes, but we don't. So, here again, I was concerned about us. So, I got it right here. I printed it out. USDA. And it's going to go through several grains, but the one we're going to talk about right now is wheat. And this is something, if you want to just look at the top headline, in this report it says all wheat stocks are down 22%. That's ending stocks. And when they mean down 22%, they mean 22% based on this time this year against this time last year. Okay? So we're down 22%. Now, could that be we're exporting more? Because we surely are not eating more. I mean, here again on YouTube, pretty much wheat is bad. It ain't got back to wheat is good. You know, it's that whole gluten issue. Now, if we were talking almonds, it'd be a whole nother story. Anyway, as the sun brightens up, what we had as of June the 1st, old crop, all wheat. Now this includes all old crop, and old crop being wheat that was left over from the harvest of 2021. Yeah. Or it might even be from 2020, or even 2019. All depends. Yeah, don't always all get sold and stored properly. Wheat can last a long, long time. Check it out. In case you're really worried, you can stock up your own wheat. Wheat berries, that is. So, old crop, all wheat. Stored in all positions. And when they mean all positions, they mean on farm and off farm. Yeah. As of June the 1st, 2022, total 660 million bushels. Down 22% from a year ago. On-farm stocks are estimated at 93.0 million bushels, down 34% from last year. Now I want to stop you there, or stop me there. You see, the farmer, he's happy about that. He's selling his wheat. He don't want to keep his wheat. Sorry, he don't. He wants to sell it, make money. So they're happy. Plus, it frees up room on their on-farm storage to put this year's crop in, which is currently being harvested. In fact, in the southeast and southwest, it's already a wrap. They're doing it in the upper Midwest and northwestern states at the moment. You know, states like Kansas, Iowa. Yeah, those states. We already wrapped here in Alabama, and yes, we grow wheat too. In fact, what I didn't know was every state in the country grows wheat. Now, I didn't know that. Did you? Anyway, back to the report. So, on-farm stocks were 93 million bushels, and that was down to 34% from last year. Off-farm stocks were at 567 million bushels, and they are down 19% from a year ago. The March-May 2022 indicated disappearance is 364 million bushels, down 22% from the same period a year earlier. Now, what's that mean? The disappearance was wheat that we either consumed, sold, exported, what have you. It disappeared. Yeah. Don't sound right, technical and professional, but that's what they call it, okay? So there you have it. Now, if you know anything about wheat, you'll know there's three types of wheat. There's a hard red winter wheat, which is what's currently being harvested. Then there's the soft white wheat, which is planted in the spring, not in every state, but in states that are conducive to growing spring wheat. the South not being those states. In the South and Southwest, due to disease pressure and viruses and funguses, we grow winter wheat through the winter. Fall, winter, into the spring. All up through the Midwest, upper Northwest, high plains, Colorado and all those states, they can put in spring wheat. Two. When I say two, they also put in winter wheat. And they get 2 wheat crops. You might not know that. But the hard red winter wheat is what's basically for bread. Not saying you can't make cakes, cupcakes, and all that out of it, but it's primarily for bread and bread products. Where the soft white spring wheat is more for cakes and pastries. Yeah, you might not have known that. No, I didn't until a few years back when I was looking into all this for my own information back in another time period when we wasn't going to have no wheat. 2008, 2009. Yeah. Amazing how everything all goes to crap when, they think the economy is just going to bottom out and collapse. And the whole world's going to just fall into a black hole. Yeah. I don't know where we're going to come out at. I guess we'll all have to take the ride to see. And then there's a third wheat as I ramble on, and that's called Durham wheat. Yep. And it's the smallest of the three in acreage planted. And what's it for? Durham wheat is what they use to make pasta. Yeah, buddy. Now here again, you could make pasta from hard red wheat or soft white wheat. Yeah, surely you could. But apparently it's not the preferred wheats. The Durham wheat is. And that was something I saw at Walmart. Maybe you did too. Pasta was pretty slim. And I have seen that. Not only in 22, but 2021 and 2020. And at times, even further back. Why? Pasta's cheap. It's a food of the poor. It has been since biblical times. Them Egyptians and all that, Israelites, you can read about that in a thing called the Bible. Yeah, wheat's been there for them. Those 2 loaves of bread that fed the masses, yeah, with those fishes. Anyway, so my point being, we got 660 million bushels left. Here we sit. Let's just go for it and say it's July the 18th, okay? And that less than 3 weeks left. The southeast and southwest have already done their harvesting, and I'll tell you another little fact, and here again you'll be able to see this in the link that I leave in the description below the video to the USDA site where you can look at these reports. And you'll see that a lot of states, they don't report any information there, amount of acreage planted, amount of acreage harvested, how much was harvested. No, they don't do it. Yeah, not every state does. So even if the USDA says there's 660 million bushels left, there's potentially way more than that. And when you start looking down the list of states that don't report to the USDA, you'll be rather surprised, because more don't than do. There you go. And the USDA has no way of forcing them. Nope. Apparently not. But let's just give you some facts. If we got 660 million bushels left, how much do we use in a year? Well, in a year, what we use right now, our total consumption for 2021, latest figures out, okay? Let me get over here to where I did some ciphering, And it's in metric tons of all things instead of bushels, and I had to convert that. So, our U.S. annual consumption of wheat, all types, was 30,643,000 metric tons. Now, when you convert that to bushels, there's actually 36.8 bushels per metric ton. That comes to 1,127,662,400 bushels. Okay, then we're going to divide that by 52 weeks. Okay, so we would use 21,685,815 bushels per week. So if we take the 21, we'll just say the 21.8 million bushels, and divide that into our 660 million bushels we have left. Currently, as of June the 1st, the U.S. has 30 weeks of wheat left. Yeah. But I know what you're saying, just like I said. I thought it was only 10 worldwide. Yeah. See how that works? And then I went back to read those articles. And all you got to do is put 10 weeks worth of wheat left worldwide, and you'll just see hundreds of articles come up. Probably thousands in old Mr. Google. But when you start reading them, especially the ones that led off to this, you'll see may have, could have, might only have. Yeah, it's those there disclaimer words that I've talked to all of y'all all about before. If you actually read, instead of listening to the talking heads, read their articles. Should they actually provide some, like I'm going to do in the description below these videos every time I do one. So you can actually go in and read the whole thing. Yeah, because I'm just skimming over the important aspects of it. Just like I'm skimming over this grain report, because I mean, it's got in here corn, soybeans, sorghum, barley, oats. Hey, I could sit here all afternoon talking to you about grain stocks in America and the world. But I want you to know, since several people brought it up, no fear. You're not gonna run out of bread. And I know right now some of you are gonna tell me again, just like you told me on the last video, there's no bread in your store. And I'm gonna tell you I've seen that here too, on certain occasions. High volume days, the truck didn't make it. Yeah, for whatever reason. And it used to be quite common when I used to do my shopping on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, when I was working 6 and 7 days a week. Yep. Walmart would be just pick, slap over. Bread would be mostly not available. And I'd have to go back on a Tuesday or Wednesday and pick me up some bread. Might have to do the same with milk, but it magically appeared. My point being, and I can go through all the other grains if you'd like on some more of these types of videos. I can go over our corn stalks, our soybeans. Yeah. But here's just a little secret. We got some left. Surely we do. And I know some of you right out there going to say, well, that's the government. You can't trust the government. But you can, like, where do you think the talking heads and the people like Tyler Durbin, you know, he's the fake dude that writes for Zero Hedge, that doesn't exist because that's a character from a movie. Yeah. Where does he get his info? Does he give you links so you can go read and see what I see? No. And it's always negative. Why? Because the man behind that ghostwriter name, as it's known in the biz, is a professed communist. He don't even like America. Imagine that. And here's the other thing about the wheat. Our government and every government's blaming Russia for everything now. Now I want you to think, prior to Russia invading Ukraine, did you even know, care, or worry about what Ukraine did? And if you actually look up in the data of what Ukraine actually exported prior to all this, yeah, they sold a lot of grain. Low cost grain. to countries that could afford to buy it, or couldn't afford to buy, like American grain, Chinese grain, Russia grain, and for any second of the world time. Can we now all of a sudden trust what China reports they have and Russia? Really? But it's amazing when people want to, the very people that they would call liars, communists, manipulators, part of the New World Order, what have you, when it behooves them, they become their trusted sources. Just saying. So anyway, if you'd like to see more analytical discussions about such topics like food, wheat, oats, grains, barley, even beef, I got all the links because I worry about it sometimes too. And I feel better once I go look at the facts instead of watching somebody sit with a microphone in front of them or in their studio telling me, okay, ain't gonna be no food left. We're not sure when, but it's coming. That's why, I sort of jokingly and satirically say, I keep checking just to make sure on that day it all disappears. No, it's not. And I know it's getting expensive. And that's another thing that's been brought up. Well, now it's getting so expensive, people can't buy it. So that's a self-inflicted food shortage. Well, here's the fact. There's food available even for the poor in this country. Now, I can't talk about everyone. Yeah, maybe you ain't eating what you want. But if you travel some, and that's why I always say and say it to my own children, you need to get outside your own country. All through the continent of Africa, most of the continent of Asia, people are just proud, more people than not, to have a bowl of rice at the end of the day. They're happy. Think about that one. When you're going insane because your favorite Cocoa Puffs ain't in the store. So that's all I got to say. And I know I'm swimming upstream when I say it. But let's keep the conversation civil. Let's say what's going on in your area. I'd like to know. In my area, you see it. I could have picked Sunday to go. Sunday evening even. And made it look, so terrible. Because even before all the supply chain issues, even before the labor shortage issues, government control issues, food inflation, and what have you, Sunday evening, Walmart looked like it'd been devastated. I could do it every week. Woo! People would just think we're about to all starve to death and die. And here's another thing. If you got a little piece of ground, start growing you some staple crops. Or if you don't got ground, give it somebody who does. Use an empty lot. Do something. One crop to grow, straight from the get-go, is beans. Lots of beans. I'm always growing beans. I love my beans. If I could grow rice here, I'd grow rice too. And I could grow wheat. And I have. Man, that's a whole lot of work. For a whole little bit of grain, because it takes quite a bit to look into it to make a loaf of bread. Anyway, folks, y'all take care. Stay safe out there. And may you be blessed as you bless others. Until the Kitty Crew, Spooky, Speedy, Cleo, Mr. Magoo. Yep, Heathcliff, Mr. Gray. I almost forgot Mr. Gray. Grace and Lily Bit too. See y'all in the next video. Take care. Stock up as you wish and as you want. But don't lose your sanity. And don't go in debt for something that may, might, could, or maybe will happen sometime in the near or distant future. Take care and God bless y'all. Goodbye for now. Talk about beans. Woo! Roll that beautiful bean footage right there. That's a nice stand of beans, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I see what y'all are up to. You wait till I'm out back, and then you get your treats. Who did it? Tell me, Mr. Gray. Was it Magoo? Magoo? Don't you walk away and turn your back on me. Huh. Tell me about it, Mr. Gray. It was Lilybit. Lilybit opened the door and gave him to Magoo. Yeah, I can tell it was Magoo, 'cause he's trying to hide. Huh. You guys just can't be doing this. Huh. What do you say, Miss Cleo? What part in this did you have to play? I know you had something to do with it. Yep. Okay. Well, I know they're yours. Your faithful fans sent them to you. That just doesn't mean you can... No, that just doesn't mean whenever my back's turned, you can do what y'all want to. Now, I'm thinking maybe Lilybit had way too much to do with this. Don't you think so, Mr. Gray? No? Wasn't her, huh? Okay, buddy. Then it could only be the mastermind. Spooky. Well, guys, eat up, because I'm going to get them and take them back in the house. Aren't we, Mr. Gray? Yep. Y'all enjoy. You better get over there, Magoo, since you were involved in this. Yeah. You gotta watch kitties like a hawk. Turn your back on this bunch. Yeah. A little bit opens the door. Let Spooky or Magoo in. First thing they do. Let's go for the treats. Like I wouldn't give them some before the day was done. Oh, kitties. I see you in there, Lilybit. I see you hiding. I'm coming. Whew. It's hot, and we're going where it's cool. Later, all.